Yo, what's good, everybody? I just wanted to do a video on the Lupe Fiasco album that just came out a couple weeks ago called Drogas Wave. Um, I know on this channel I don't like typically do album reviews, but I thought this shit deserved just furthermore discussion on. I ain't see too many talking about it. You know what I'm saying? More people probably out there listening to Lil Wayne album, which is dope to me, by the way. You know what I'm saying? A lot of bars, a lot of rapping on that. Lil Wayne called a file, finally came out. Props to him. But personally, to me, you know what I'm saying? Like Lupe Fiasco, up to now, got the album of the year. Cause it's just, cause this Drogas Wave album, man, it's a conceptual piece of work that we all know Lupe Fiasco to do on his albums for the most part. You know what I'm saying? And like ever since he came out with Tattoo on Youth, I remember that's when I started getting into him a whole lot. Just to like study his metaphors, study his double, triple entendres, and the underlying themes, and a lot of his songs that would sometimes stretch out throughout the album, sometimes throughout many albums. Shit, with this album here, there's a lot of throwbacks or lines from previous albums that he did. So I mean, a lot of his work is really interconnected, like a mural, you'll say. And we got Miro Jr. finishing things off on this album here. But yeah, this album, the more and more that I'm listening to it, I feel like it's probably like, I mean, I want to say it's like my favorite Lupe Fiasco album, but I don't want to like jump the gun too much, because I mean I know what this album is about. I know what it means. I know. I guess you could say I get the general idea of what Lupe was trying to do here, music wise, concept wise, just to like engage his fans or whoever's listening. But shit, this album you can definitely say it's one of his best piece of work that you can just pick a lot of songs from. Even though this album has a vibe to it, which I would say is more melancholy, more laid back, a lot of the beats on here like really chill, except for songs like Miro Jr. What's that song? Gold, and I guess you could say that song with Damian Marley. But I mean, other than that, the album's pretty chill. You know, this like the beats, they kind of give Lupe Fiasco enough time to just do his thing, but still be like in his own like state of creativity. I'm just giving him a space to tell his ideas, his stories, and shit. Let's get to those. For what the album was about, Drogas Wave. On a surface level, you know what I'm saying? Some people might say that, all right, it's about slaves and retribution and shit like that. You know, the deeper that you get into it, you know what I'm saying? You might say that the album, yeah, it is about slavery, but it's also about us like not dying. You know what I'm saying? You know that saying, real niggas don't die. You know what I'm saying? That applies to every member of the diaspora. You know what I'm saying? To every member of the melanated race, of the melanated peoples. They have a cosmic existence. So for their stories to end just by being thrown off of slave ships, as Lupe Fiasco kind of translates throughout the beginning parts of the album. You know, those enslaved peoples, they did not die. They found a way to live within the waters. Some stayed, some walked back to Africa, and and like this is like when once I like listen to this first part of the album and then like get the gist of the second half, I kind of get what Lupe Fiasco was like really trying to do here. I mean, just like with my own words, I say it's to revise history. You know what I'm saying? Like so much history has already been stolen from us and taken from us that we're ignorant to it, and we just tend to think that all right, our time stops once once the people who oppress us, once the people who like take our all that we had, once they start utilizing that shit, what can we do but answer to them? You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of like mentality that we would have. I mean, this look at everybody. Hey, include myself sometimes. Is getting along in the rat race, is trying to survive. Traveling up the highways, just traveling up the mazes, trying to make some kind of value with a dollar. But we all know that shit ain't got it. But for what the album does, it talks about the what you can become if you realize that your story has a purpose, or that your story, like, it doesn't end just with people dying. It doesn't end just with dreams being shattered, or your whole life just is seeming like it's coming to a stop. Your story continues as long as you keep living, and as long as you keep writing, as long as you continue to maintain a certain kind of energy that you might want the rest of the world to share. So you live that example, or you express that in some kind of way, detail that in some kind of way, and you know the enslaved peoples who got thrown off overboard. You know what I'm saying? They, in a sense, their spirits ain't never died. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people be saying that the hurricanes being sent to all across America. It's just kind of like a battle axe from Mother Nature for shit, from what we call Africa, and from the enslaved in the Atlantic. You know what I'm saying? That's them pretty much uniting together and be like, all right, let's send some chaos their way. And out of chaos comes some kind of creation. So we gotta find some way to survive this shit, but know that we don't never die through this shit anyway. When Lupe Fiasco was like doing songs like Allen Forever, Janala Forever, those were what we can view and hear as real life stories. But as we continue to perpetuate the same tragedies without realizing the greatness or the purpose or the impact that life could have had, if there was definitely more to support them, definitely more to instill confidence. I mean, if the child had all that they needed, they would thrive and be the best that they can be, regardless of anything. These children didn't have that, and for one reason or another, our ancestors didn't have that at one point also. However, by going through these tribulations, we're always able to revive ourselves and make a comeback in a way that is not just retribution for the world, for your ancestors, but for yourself as well, so that you can find peace in your story. And in some form of way. The only way for the enslaved peoples who were thrown off the slave ships to find peace was to drag other slave ships below them, which was, explained in Lupe Fiasco song Wave. And that's one of my favorite joints. There's a lot of favorite like songs on here that I could say that like even on their own, they stand up pretty well. Lupe Fiasco, he usually does like 4 or 5, sometimes 6 minute long songs. So they're pretty full songs for what they are. And he's got his themes and double entendres on here. On the Wave song, I believe the second, third verse, one of them, he kind of raps about the trees and like cussing them out just for having a participation in the slave trade. You know, it's being made from boats and an axe and shit like that. It's that's the kind of mind Lupe Fiasco has. You know what I'm saying, he'll take a whole like concept or put an identity on a certain element or what we perceive to be inanimate. You know, he'll put a whole identity on that and make a whole song about it. You know what I'm saying? So that's, just like pure writing skills, concepts. That was props to Fiasco right there. So the first half of the album is about overcoming that slavery, kind of like becoming, I guess what we would call a myth today, like how they used to have the movies with the I guess it was Moby Dick or some kind of like octopus pulling down ships and bridges and shit like that. That's what we would be doing to the slave ships. And that was kind of like the ending phase of the first half of the album. So like until you got to the point where you got stuff like Hail Selassie and God, which other songs on that? Stronger. Until you got songs like that, you started like remembering the roots, remembering Ethiopia, remembering, just all that's going on in the Atlantic. You know what I'm saying? So the Atlantic and what you call it, the slave trade, you could say pretty much played the same role for my bad, y'all. Lupe Fiasco's contract under Atlantic Records. Anybody like knows the story, they know just how his music has been handled, how he's been handled as an artist with us. So I guess I think this is his independent album. So like what you have here is just you see the duality that Lupe Fiasco is trying to like paint on, not paint, but y'all get what I mean. This is from what he's trying to expose and share. This as a listening experience, because it's like a long ass album, but he was like, it's supposed to be to this. So put some studying glasses on and write some notes, and you'll be able to like pick apart this album for weeks. I remember like with Tetsu and Youth, I was picking apart. I'm still picking apart the album whenever I listen to it and all that stuff. It's just just full of depth. But for this album, Drogas Wave, it's more, I would say, more the storytelling element and showing how you can revise your own failures and still make a comeback without just dying and that just be it, like how everybody believes that you are. No, we're more than this body. We can take on a whole new kind of reality if we wanted to, if we knew how to just be in tune and just tap in to our own powers. And before this going to something else, just let me say, I don't want this to get too long. You know what I'm saying? Props to Lupe Fiasco, Drogas Wave. This is probably like it's at least my second favorite Lupe Fiasco album. I say my favorites were Tattoo and Youth and The Cool. Food and Liquor was cool too. But I mean, I just like the vibe of The Cool and and shit, just like the wordplay and breaking down Tattoo and Youth and all that. And Drogas Wave, it was kind of like a mixture of those and a callback to those. You know what I'm saying? You had Stacking That Cheese, the song on here, which like a callback to Hip Hop Saved My Life. And yeah, he was flowing his ass off on King Nas. I remember liking that stuff. And I believe it was Cripple, yeah, Community Resistance and Progress. Yeah, that shit was dope too. I like the vibe of the quotations from Fred. You know, the beats on there too. Like all these beats, like they like pretty much my style. But he's just more on a hippity hoppity kind of flow on here. But that's all cool though. He's still dropping games, still doing the real. So hey, that's all I'm gonna say about this thing. Lupe, keep doing your thing, and shit, can't wait to see like what else you got. Keep doing your thing. Peace. Thanks for watching, y'all. Asante Sano.